Hey team, Cullen Haskins here, director with Market America and member of the Million Dollar Club, also local coordinator of Team Tampa Bay. And I just want to send out a couple of tips for each and every one of you. This is all about co creating a stellar presentation. So it doesn't matter what you're attending, whether it's a home event, a unfranchised business presentation, a local seminar. There's a few things we all need to bring to the table in order to co-create the absolute best event possible. The number one thing you're bringing to the table is your commitment and your energy and excitement towards reaching your goals and the reason why you started your unfranchised business. You're going to bring that excitement, that enthusiasm to each and every event that you attend. So, first and foremost, you want to bring a huge smile to the event that you're attending. Remember, everything is one thing, it's energy. And so, we're all going to bring a positive energy to the presentation, no matter what it is. No negativity is allowed. Doesn't matter how bad your day has been at work, doesn't matter anything else that's going on, okay? It needs to be 100% positive. If you have a challenge or a concern that has come up, you're going to handle that later. After everything's said and done, you're going to make a phone call to your senior upline or to one of your partners and discuss something. But that's well after the meeting's over with. So we're going to bring positive energy. We're going to bring a great attitude because we want people to naturally be attracted to the positive energy and the environment that we're co-creating together. Believe it or not, you are just as important as the people who are presenting in front of the room. And the people presenting in front of the room need your energy and your excitement and your enthusiasm. It means you're at the edge of your seat, paying attention, fully engaged. So before the meeting begins, you want to find a seat. You want to make sure that you know where you're sitting. If you have a guest there that night, you're going to make sure that you get your guest up in front of the room, as close to the front as possible. If your guest already, make sure your guest knows the time frame. All right. If it's a UBP, it's like 7:30 to 9. We should be leaving the room by 9 o'clock. Okay. Even though the presentation may get done before 9 o'clock, we still have recognition and the meeting after the meeting, which is the most important part, where you're going to be moving your guest forward. So make sure they know 9 o'clock so they don't have to leave early. But if they do have to leave early, put them in the back of the room because you don't want your guest to get up in the middle of the presentation and walk out because all the other guests are thinking, ooh, that person's not interested. And that could not be the case. They're probably stoked, but they had to leave early for a sitter or for whatever reason they needed to leave early. Okay. Next, we want to fill the room from the front to the back. So no matter what, you want to fill up the front first and then to the back of the room. We're always going to have the room set with fewer seats to make sure we fill up the front of the room before we grab additional seats in the back of the room. And this is going to be the best time to get your water, is right now in the beginning. Because once we start the presentation, all of us need to remain in our seats. All of us need to remain in our seats and focused and paying attention on the presenter. Again, smile, be engaged, laugh. If there's a joke, it's okay to laugh. That's great. Great thing to do, okay? The next thing is look for opportunities to clap. And if one claps, we all clap because we want it to be in uniform presentation. If one person claps and everybody else sitting there with crickets, that means the rest of you have snoozed out. You're thinking about an oil change you need to get when the presentation's over, and you're not focused on the presentation. So make sure as well, don't be sitting there talking with your neighbor, because when you talk with your neighbor, you're distracting your neighbor from the presentation. The whole goal of the presentation is getting them in front of someone else to see the presentation other than you, okay? And you want them to hear undivided attention. You'll have plenty of time to talk to them after the presentation, at the meeting after the meeting. But for right now, you don't want to be whispering to them. You don't want to distract them. Plus, when you distract them, you're distracting everybody around you, which is not exciting. The other thing you don't want to do is don't be staring at your cell phone. Matter of fact, in the beginning of the presentation, when we tell everybody to take their cell phone out and turn it off, unless you're the president of some small country or something that we're not aware of, and you're ultra important, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to have this thing on my lap. And if that's the case and you got to turn to vibrate, but even when our phones today vibrate, man, they disturb everybody around you. But we got to make sure we do the same thing to our phone. I'm not using the presentation time as an opportunity to be checking emails or texts or on social media or whatever's going on, because if I do that, it's going to duplicate to my team. It's going to duplicate with the guest I brought. It's a poop sandwich, right? So we don't want no poop sandwiches. We want to be 100%, we want undivided attention to the presenters that night. Because the other thing is, it's weird. Like, can you imagine if I was presenting and I stopped in the middle of my presentation, I was like, hold on a second, I gotta look at this text, or I gotta take this call, or you would be like, oh my gosh, that is the rudest thing ever. I can't believe Cullen just did that. So then you can't do that in return, right? All of us need to be 100% focused to create the environment to where our guests that are evaluating not only the business presentation, they're evaluating all of us together as one and seeing if we're all on the same page, okay? And then we're going to get into the meeting after the meeting, and that's the most important part. You guys, when we break and the meeting's technically over, the presentation's technically over, the meeting's not over. This is when you're going to sell a ticket. This is when you want to get them registered as a customer. You're going to sell them a product. We're going to be booking an ABC appointment at their location. Hey, how fast do you think we can get in front of a couple of people? Let's get a set of eyes on this. Let's get 2 more sets of eyes on this. If it's Tuesday, let's book it for Thursday. You're going to be getting everything rocking quickly. That's the whole goal. And you're going to introduce your guests to other people that have a common thread or a common background that they're going to relate best with in order to move them forward as well. All right. So these are your goals as you're ending out the presentation that night, and definitely get with the team, hang out with the team, link arms with the team in your geographic area, because that's going to grow your business 50 times faster than you could possibly ever grow it on your own. So no matter what, be 100% committed to every UBP in your geographic area to know that you're showing up with or without a guest. And when you commit to that, watch how all of a sudden you start having guests. Because you're 100% committed to that, then all of a sudden you start showing the plan, and then guests want to come to the UBP, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm bringing guests. But if it's like, well, I'll show up to the UBP when I feel like it, then you usually will never have a guest because you're treating it as a spare time business and not a part-time business. I hope these tips help you in leveraging our meeting system in order to grow even faster in your area. Thanks, guys.